Hi, I'm Jen, and welcome to my first mid-year book freakout tag. Let's get started with question number one, which is, what is the best book you have read in 2025? And that would be Infinity Gate by M.R. Carey. This is a multiverse novel where our main character discovers how to hop between worlds when she is trying to find a way to save Earth. There is an overarching government that controls travel between worlds, so it becomes a complicated down with the system, save humanity. There's an AI character. Like I said, it's very complex, but it's gripping and it's easy to understand, and I'm a big fan of M.R. Carey, so this one is at the top of my list for favorite books I've read in 2025. The next question is, what is the best sequel that you have read this year? And for me, that would be The Story of a New Name by Elena Ferrante. This is the sequel to My Brilliant Friend, which makes up the first two books in the Neapolitan Quartet. This series follows two women throughout the course of their entire lives. The first book, My Brilliant Friend, follows them from being very young through adolescence, and then The Story of a New Name is when they're entering their young adult phase of life, and it's very much a family drama, Italian neighborhood rivals. It's dramatic and it's heart-wrenching, and I just really love these characters. And there's 4 books where, like I said, we follow their entire lives and you just get really attached to them, and I can't wait to get back into this world with the third one. Question number 3 is, what new release have you not read but want to? And for me, that is Once Was Willem by M.R. Carey. This is M.R. Carey's newest release, and my Barnes & Noble just got a copy in, so I will be getting that this week. So from what I understand, this is a epic fantasy, but it's also like a dark fairy tale, and it is also historical fiction. So it is a fantasy that is set quite some time ago, and I'm such a fan of M.R. Carey's writing that I'm really looking forward to seeing how he handles this type of fantasy. So this is one that I will definitely be getting to very soon. Question number 4 is, what is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year? And for me, that would be Lucky Day by Chuck Tingle. I am a big fan of Chuck Tingle's horror releases. He is the author of Camp Damascus and Bury Your Gaze, which I really enjoyed, so Lucky Day is the book that I am most anticipated. Lucky Day centers around a global disaster where one of the only survivors is a statistics professor, which sounds really great, and especially coming from Chuck Tingle. Question number 5 is, what is your biggest disappointment? And I'm sorry folks, but I'm going to have to go with The Devils by Joe Abercrombie. I only made it 50 pages in and I DNF'd this one. I may go back and read this again after I've read a lot more of Joe Abercrombie, but I just was not connecting with this at all. I have now continued to see reviews where a lot of people felt the same way, so I feel comfortable with DNFing this for now. I know there's going to be a movie. Maybe I'll try again before the movie comes out. But for now, I'm going to say this is my biggest disappointment because I was really looking forward to the intersection of fantasy and horror, and also getting to read something by Joe Abercrombie. And perhaps it just wasn't the right time for me, but it did really disappoint me because I was looking very much forward to reading this one. Question number 6 is, what was your biggest surprise? And for me, I think it would be The Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. This is a book that I DNF'd back in 2019, and at the time this was my biggest disappointment of that year because it seemed like a book that would check all my boxes, being a nautical fantasy with pirates and dragons, and I just wasn't meshing well with it. I was halfway into the book and I didn't know what was going on, and I think at the time I really needed to understand the plot and the reason that we were there. And I also think that the reviews at the time are what made me keep this one on my shelf and plan to eventually try it again, because they made it sound like the second half was better than the first. And when I tried it again this year, like I said, it was my biggest surprise because I loved it. Yeah, I didn't know what the plot was and what was happening, but I was figuring it out along the way. And I really enjoy R.J. Barker's writing style. I enjoy the language that was used. The captain in this book is a strong woman, and everything, including the language, is woman-centric. And I just really enjoyed everything about this, and it wound up being a 5-star read for me. So I was surprised and very much pleasantly surprised. Question number 7 is, what is your favorite new author? Either a debut or new to you. And for me, that would be N.K. Jemisin. I read the 5th season for the first time this year, and I was absolutely blown away. I want to read everything that N.K. Jemisin has written now, so expect to see the rest of the Broken Earth trilogy. This is book 1, and it is a mix of fantasy and sci-fi set in a dystopian world, and her writing is incredible. So I would definitely say, even though this is the first book that I've read by her, that she is a favorite new author for me. Question number 8 is, what is your favorite fictional crush of 2025? And I'm going to change that to, what is your favorite romance book of the year? And that would be Love on the Brain by Hazelwood. This was also a surprise for me. I was hoping to enjoy her STEM books, but I wasn't expecting to give this 5 stars. But this was definitely a favorite for me, and I plan to read a lot more Hazelwood in the future. Question number 9 is, what is your newest favorite character? And I am going to go with Kaz from the Spellshop. If you have read the Spellshop, you know what I'm talking about. If you have not read the Spellshop, I highly recommend it if you are into cozy fantasy. The main character has the cutest companion, who is Kaz. So I am listing Kaz as my favorite new fictional character, and I am being vague because it was such a surprise for me finding out who Kaz is, so I will let you do the same as well. Let me know if you have read the Spellshop and if you agree that Kaz is the cutest thing ever. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. And I'm a little bit embarrassed about my answer, not because I'm embarrassed that it made me cry, but I'm embarrassed that I have posted a vlog of me DNFing this book and going back and reading it and finding it to just be mid, and admitting here that it still did make me cry. But it's Emily Henry, and Emily Henry always makes me cry. Even though I spent the entire book rolling my eyes at these characters, I still managed to cry because it's Emily Henry and I cannot help it. So Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry has made me cry this year, and that's all I'm going to say about that. And question 11 is a book that made you happy, and I am going to go with Shroud by Adrian Tchaikovsky. I just posted a vlog that will explain it all, but this is my favorite type of sci-fi, where we get to go to another world and see what the alien life form is like. But this was also dark and humorous and emotional, and I just had a really good time, and it made me really happy because it's a type of book that I just really enjoy. Question number 12 asks, what is your favorite video that you have posted this year? And I would probably say that my 25 books that I want to read in 2025 is my favorite video that I posted. Not because it's necessarily a great video, but it's the first one that I ever made, and I'm proud that I had the courage to post it to YouTube. So I'm going to say that that first video is my favorite video that I have posted so far this year. I believe we're on question 13, and that is, what is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year? And I think I'm going to go with Voyage of the Damned. I'm a big fan of nautical fantasy, so I love any covers that have sea type things on them, but I enjoy the gold leafing, and there's also sprayed edges with words on them. This one says, "Who do you trust?" And I think it's just a beautifully made book. I'm going to see if there's anything inside. There's not really any. Well, I mean, there's like some maps and things in the front that are absolutely gorgeous. So I think I'm going to go with this one, Village of the Damned by Frances White. Question number 14 asks, what books are you prioritizing to read by the end of the year? And I have a handful of books that I'm really hoping to read by the end of the year. The first one being The Will of the Many. I would like to have this one read before the next one comes out because I really want to be part of the conversation. I know that everybody loves this book, and the second book is highly anticipated, and I think it's fun to be involved in something that everyone is loving and everyone is hyped about, and it just gets me really excited about reading. So The Will of the Many by James Islington. And then a couple of romance books that I would really like to read by the end of the year are First Time Caller, which is like a Sleepless in Seattle type of story, and Say You'll Remember Me by Abby Jimenez. I think Abby Jimenez is currently my favorite romance author, and I would like to prioritize these because romance is not one of my main genres, but I have been reading it a lot more lately, and I try to make sure that the books that I'm really excited about don't get left behind. And that's another reason that I want to read Broken Country by Claire Leslie Hall. This is more of a historical fiction, literary fiction type of read, which I enjoy, and this one sounds really good, but these type of books tend to fall by the wayside for the science fiction, fantasy, horror read. So this is one that I would like to prioritize as well. And then the last one I have on this list is Gardens of the Moon by Stephen Erikson. And this is one that I'm just reading really slowly to understand and grasp everything that Erikson is presenting in this world and with these characters. And so I'm prioritizing this one because I'm reading it in between all of the other books that I'm reading, and I know it's easy for something to fall by the wayside, and I'm hoping by the end of the year that I've made it through the end of Gardens of the Moon. If you have made it this far, thank you so much. Let me know your favorite books, your biggest disappointment, anything that you want to add. If you have any recommendations for me based on what I have been reading in my video, I would absolutely love to hear from you. If this is your first video that you're finding me through, please be sure to subscribe so you can follow along with my channel. So again, thank you so much for being here, and I will hopefully talk to you soon.